Hi, I'm Mike Cicileo, and a couple of weeks ago I was asked to do my testimony. And I thought a bit about it, and I thought, well, how can you ask me? I don't have a testimony. And I was told, well, no, you've been through a lot, and I think there's something there. And so I thought about it and prayed about it, and God He started me with one thing, and that was, Mike, what have I done for you? And kind of at that moment, my whole life kind of flashed in front of me, and started when I was basically at birth. I was born an illegitimate child in Hartford, Connecticut in 1954, and to a wonderful mother. And she raised me for about a year and a half, and then met a man, my stepfather, that she ended up marrying about a year and a half later, and we all proceeded to move as far across country as we could get from Connecticut to California. And he ended up being a very abusive stepfather, not only to my mother but to myself. And he would come home sometimes drunk, and I'd have to hide under the bed so that he couldn't find me to do his damage. But all through that, I know now that God knew me way before I knew him. And he gave me a decent demeanor where things like that would just kind of brush off. And so learned to just kind of live with that. Grew up with my mom and my stepfather, and they proceeded to have two daughters and a sister. So or two daughters and a son. So I had two sisters and a brother, and we all kind of grew up in a rather insane situation with a very abusive alcoholic stepfather. He would often come home drunk, and the result wasn't very nice. But all through that, one thing that came to me was that God, again, kept me sane in an insane situation. And one thing that was kind of a tough thing for me was that my stepfather knew my real father, who I have never met and don't know. I never really had a father until I met the Father, and that's through a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And that's what got me to this point right now. And I again, grew up with this situation, and at about 15, after getting tired of being drugged through the house by my hair and whipped with a belt till I had welts all over my body, I fought back, and I actually got in a fist fight with my stepfather, and at that point I left the house, and I was 15 then, and I ran away somewhat to live down in the creek near my mother's house for about a year in a tent. I used to just go and hang out at friends' houses and whatnot, but all along with God just right there next to me, just protecting me. And again, little did I know that was the situation, but that was the situation. God was there with me. And so anyway, life went on. Ended up having a paper route and doing gardening and whatnot, and saving a little money, and going to City College, and putting myself through school, and I wasn't living in a tent still at this point. I was actually in an apartment, and got a little civilized after that, and then shortly after that met the woman that I thought was going to be that I was going to be married to the rest of my life, or live with the rest of my life, and we got married after knowing each other about 7-8 months. Ended up married for almost 20 years, what I thought was a great marriage. We had 3 boys and a girl. We had 4 children, an all-American family. I went from doing gardening and a paper route to actually having a landscape company in town, and things were going very well. We had purchased properties, had a business had expanded, and everything was going great, at least I thought so. And the all-American family situation, quickly fell apart one day when I found out that my wife no longer wanted to be married to me, and filed for divorce. And I took that real hard because divorce was not a word in my vocabulary, and I did not want a divorce. And all through this, I had what I thought was a relationship with Jesus Christ, but it ended up not really being. I mean, we would go to church on Sunday, but that was it. It was that hour in church on Sunday that you so often hear that that's not enough, and it isn't. And I knew I needed a lot more. And at that point, I got down on my hands and knees and prayed, and just prayed that God would bless me and the family through this situation. But He had a different idea, and we ended up getting a divorce that just absolutely devastated me and the family, and the business, and the properties, and all of it just came tumbling down around us to where I just I still had the business going, but it was faltering. I had supervisors stealing work from me, taking jobs. It wasn't a good thing. But all through that, though, God held me up. There would be days when at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, my knees would start shaking. I'd have to lay down. I couldn't hardly make it through the rest of the day. I was so depressed about the whole situation. And through that, somehow, I just felt like God was just holding me up, like those pictures you see where He's carrying the guy along the beach. That was me. My arms were dragging, my legs were dragging, but Jesus Christ was there with me, just hanging on and pulling me through. And now it's been about 10 years. Shortly, a couple of years after that, I met, I prayed and prayed for a woman that would just love me for me, and God put that woman in my life, and we've been married. It'll be 8 years this coming Monday, and wonderful woman of God, and the whole life is just completely turned it around. He picked me up off the floor. Jesus Christ picked me up off the floor, and got me back into a life with Christ, which was the most important thing, and hooked me up with a wonderful woman that, again, is a very important thing, and at least for me, something I need in my life, and I'm very thankful for. And He has built the business back easily tenfold after it just about went down the tubes. I had actually been hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt for the EDD, IRS, you name it, vendors all over, but never had to file bankruptcy. Somehow, through the grace of God, He got me through that and got every bill paid with interest, and then on top of that, built the company back. Even have a couple of my boys working with me right now, so that's been an absolute blessing. And so, out of that all, the one thing towards the end of this flash through that God showed me at the beginning of my life, at the end of that flash, he looked at me, and he looked at my heart, and he said, "So, Mike, what are you going to do for me?" And I wept. It just hit me really hard that look at what God's done for me. He's gotten me through my life. He's gotten me out of a bad thing. I thought it was the end of the world when I got out of that marriage, but He got me out of a bad thing that could have been way worse and got me into a good thing. And now I have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and a lot of that has really come to pass right now through this Believer's Edge group. And that's one thing that I'd just like to encourage anyone that might be watching this to continue to be in the Word every single day, to pray every single day, to love your wife, your family, your friends, and to always keep them around, because they're the ones that are going to hold you up through Jesus Christ and through that prayer. And so I just want to encourage anybody that might be going through some tough stuff, give me a call. I'd love to talk to you. And otherwise, hang in there, and hopefully we can see you on Tuesday morning at Believer's Edge, and we can pray with you and hold you up. So God bless you, and thank you so much.